Hello everyone, welcome to my Sunday slash Monday stock watch. Since today was Labor Day, I hope you all enjoyed your long weekend, but it is now time to get back to work. So let's get right into it. Let's start with the economic calendar for this coming week. We have a big week going on. So obviously today, Monday, no news, Labor Day holiday. Tomorrow, Tuesday, we do have a couple things, nothing super important. We have ISM manufacturing and construction spending. Again, nothing super important. But then Wednesday, we do have job openings, factory orders, Fed Beige Book. Those are a couple of things that I would definitely watch for, and a couple Fed speakers. And then Thursday, we do have ADP employment. We have initial jobless claims, productivity, trade deficit. Those are all important things to be watching. And then a couple Fed speakers as well. And then Friday is NFP, non-farm payrolls, the employment report, and unemployment rate. So this will be really, really important. Make sure that you're paying attention. This will be coming out an hour before the market opens on Friday. This is the big news we're going to be waiting for this week. But yeah, let's go over to Robinhood and see what overnight market looks like right now. Overnight market also just opened up. So looks like a couple names are down a little bit, but pretty close to Friday anyways. Everything looks pretty close to Friday's close. Tesla's up a bit, so is MSTR and Coin. So let's just get right into it. That makes it easy enough since everything is mostly where it closed out on Friday, especially Qs. So going into this next week, I don't expect a whole lot until probably Wednesday or Thursday, and then obviously Friday we'll get a pretty big move off of NFP. So going into Tuesday though, I'm really not expecting a whole lot. We might get some sort of bounce after Friday's, bit of selling that happened on Friday. That's the only thing I'd really be expecting. But for Q's general area that I'd be watching for, and right now we're just on the hourly time frame, is going to be from around that 568, 67 area up to that 572 to 575 range. I think that's the range that we will stay in for this next week. And either we may break back above 575 area and continue higher if we do get good news, or we will continue lower, breaking through that 568 range. But right now we have a pretty big uncorrelation between Qs and SPY. So SPY actually knocked out all-time highs once again last week, while Qs did not and is trading about over $10 away from its all-time high area, which is something to pay attention for. Uncorrelation on this type of level is a little bit odd. So I would just be kind of cautious going forward. But that is the range that I'm going to be looking for on Qs going into this next week. SPY, same sort of deal. I am looking at this around 645 to 643 range. If we do break back below there, I would be expecting to see down into 637 or lower. And then on the upside, if we do break back above like 645, 647, we could definitely tap back into that all-time high that we reached up almost 650 range. So I would be looking for that area. Next, Tesla. Tesla had a lot of movement last week, so I really don't expect us to do a whole lot going into this next week. So we'll see, but I think we will definitely stay within this maybe 326 to 340 range on Tesla this next week. But yeah, anyways, other than Tesla, the bigger names that I'm watching for is definitely going to be Coinbase and MSTR and probably Circle as well. So just looking at Bitcoin for right now, Bitcoin has been trading under 110. So if we do manage to break back above 110 in a bullish manner, holding above there, I do want to see Coinbase probably drop into the 300s or 303 area and get a bounce up to at least 315 if we are super bullish on Bitcoin going into this next week. Although I have a little bit more of a bearish outlook on the market as of right now with how uncorrelated things are, how the economy is looking. Overall, I'm a little bit bearish. That doesn't mean that I'm just going to go in and buy a bunch of puts. I'm going to wait and see how this week goes. So please keep that in mind and don't take what I say completely to heart. Take it with a grain of salt. I'm not an economist. I'm not a financial advisor. So again, take everything that I'm saying right now with a grain of salt. But yeah, if we do see more downside on Bitcoin, I do want to see a break below 300. Even on Coinbase, potentially reaching back into 290, even lower than that, I would expect to see. And then for MSTR, same sort of deal, except MSTR has got a lot of downside this past week. We might even have to go to the daily a little bit. So yeah, if we do see Bitcoin get a nice bounce, I would love to see MSTR trade back above 340 range and potentially tap into like 350, 353 area. If we do continue lower on Bitcoin, I mean, I do want to see MSTR reach up back to 345-ish. Sorry, 335-ish, and then get a dip lower and continue down into, you know, 320 to like 318 range. We haven't seen that area in a while. So that's kind of what I'm looking for going into this next week. And then Meta, which is trading pretty far from all-time highs. I would love to see this get a bounce around 730 range and then continue higher. If we do have more bearishness this next week, I would love to still see a bounce up to around 740, 745, and then trade lower, breaking below 730. So that might be a pretty big watch for me this week, although we know how Meta moves, doesn't move a whole lot. Nvidia, the bear. So Nvidia brought the bad news last week for sure. I would love to see this thing, trade back up into 175 range and then just get a complete rejection and a continuation at least into like 168 to 165 area. That would be ideal setup. If we do trade lower, I would like to see a bounce from that 168 range and then continue up higher. But it really depends on how the market sets up going into this next week. Netflix, I would love to see tomorrow Netflix trade up higher into that maybe 225 to 26 area and get a complete rejection and a continuation lower. That's kind of what I'm hoping for and looking for. So that's kind of the setup I'm watching for on Netflix going into this next week. And other than that, I mean, there's a couple other names, but I'm not really trying to crowd up my watch list going forward. Obviously, SPX, you guys know, I've been trading a lot, so kind of same in relation to my analysis on SPY. Same sort of thing I'm really looking for. For tomorrow going into Tuesday, again, like I said, I do kind of expect a bit of a bounce after Friday's selling, but going forward with the rest of the week, I'm not 100% sure with, what exactly we will see. But yeah, that will be it. Good thing it's, short trading week, so, not too many rooms for a whole bunch of mistakes. But yeah, hope you guys have an awesome trading week. Have a wonderful rest of your beautiful Labor Day Monday, and I will see you all later. Thank you guys for watching.